Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here. It's time for another mob battle, and as long as I've kept these in my inventory, someone did finally spot them and realize I was going to do Apis versus Thaumcraft eventually, so they called me out on it, so here we are. Just go ahead and do it. I'm like, yeah, I know I've been subtly kind of teasing it in a way. But I'm glad they noticed that detail. I mean, I was going to do the rest of Orspawn first, and we'll see whenever I get to that. But for now, we do have this, and I'm going to have to make sure that I have it set. Yeah, okay, there we go. Just making sure. But yeah, as recently, I've been in the Apis mood because, well, he is a cool boss. I'll be having him against Thaumcraft. Now, the thing about the Thaumcraft bosses, there's a couple things interesting about them. For one, even whenever there hasn't been a full path to them in more modern Minecraft versions, they have, however, been ported, and you can find them as spawn eggs, so you can still do that with them. So that's the thing is, even if there's not a path, he is always, every time he's ported up from, like, the versions that had them, he's always kept them at least available, even if he didn't have a path to them at that time. That's one thing Azenor did with that, and I thought that was really cool. I'm wondering if he was secretly a Mob Battles fan and was just waiting for somebody to do something like this. So, Azenor, this one's kind of for you, as well as some of the other ones I've done with Thaumcraft. Now, the other thing interesting is that Thaumcraft was one of the mods that had champions in it, where you'd have mobs that occasionally just had like special abilities. Well, one thing about the bosses is each one of them has its own special name and is always a champion form. So they will always come out with some random trait. So I might have multiple rounds with some of them. I might not, I don't know. And some of the traits are a little more crazy to deal with. And just a moment, I need to cough apparently. Don't worry too much about me, I just needed more mint. That's all. Anyhow, as I was saying, they always pop up in champion forms, and that can have some serious variability. Now, the bosses have like a subset of those champion forms that they can be, so it's not going to be quite as variable as a lot of the regular mobs, actually. But combined with boss power, that makes them more annoying, and I stepped right under that area again. What in the world is... Okay, I'm going to investigate here, because I have a theory that maybe I did something in the past and accidentally changed the biome or something. Because there's some that are naturally dark. It looks like plains everywhere. What in the world causes that, then? If this is constantly plains, then it's probably not an abyssal biome I left behind. And that can happen. Dread Plague has some interesting side effects. It still says plains. There's something straight up. And it's got, or straight down, or something that's causing that. So, I don't know what exactly is causing the literal shade, but, well, we'll ignore that. It probably won't factor in. It's not like I'm going to have an issue. Yeah, first up, we'll have the Crimson Prater versus Apis. So, let's see. Who should get the first shot? He's a sickly one. I think that means he's poisonous. Now, let's see if your poison has any effect on this guy. Probably not. Henny went for the explosion. A couple times in a row, actually. He just juggles them away. He's like, you are not worthy. He bit the dust so hard. Yeah. I mean, Apis took some damage. Let's try a few different Prater versions. Venomous. Okay, he's definitely poisonous. What was sickly then? Was he trying to cause hunger, maybe? Yeah, he caused hunger, which is nothing to most mobs. See, now he's poisoning him. But the poison damage doesn't seem to affect him while he's in shield mode. And note that only certain champions really have additional health, so it's mainly that they have a special ability. Ooh. Blew him away with the explosive flex. Ouch. But he took him down by close to 40 points. Close to, not quite 25%. Let's see if we can get another variation in here. Make things interesting. Armored. Oh, okay. More defense? Will that help? Let's see. I'm giving you the first hit for the benefit of the, not exactly doubt, but just the benefit of trying to give you at least something of an advantage. I mean, let's face it, Apis is an absolute beast. Oh, he's regenerating like crazy now. That could give him the edge. Sort of. He's trying to regenerate up. I don't know if he'll stop whenever he's just at full health. And then only do that once, because I think that's something he does. Like, he has one burst regeneration, and then it stops. Nope, the armored definitely has more oomph. So an armored version seems to be capable of taking on Apex... darn lips. It seems to be capable of taking on Apis better. However, he did just go into overdrive. This guy's recovering way too fast. So... apparently an armored version can actually win. Okay. That was a bit of mob battle science there. Because champion forms in Thaumcraft are kind of a special thing. Let's see if we can get any other variation here that wasn't already gone through. Because I'm curious which one of them can actually pull that off. Fiery. So he's a bit more toasty. The irony is this guy's all about fire too, so I don't think fiery is going to help. We've had sickly, venomous, armored, and fiery. I think sickly doesn't regenerate as much, and neither does venomous. So these variants may have additional alterations to their usual patterns, like just how much they can heal. This guy is recovering pretty quickly again, so this one knows what he's doing. He's like, I have to heal against this guy, or I will be flatlined. Even then, he's still taking a ton of damage. And is gone. So Fiery does not... Wow, he did take him down pretty hard, though. 33 points left. He has less than 25%. So that's impressive. Okay, so Fiery kind of was working it. Spined. I think they have something like thorns. Like retributive damage. But so does... so does Apis. So this is like, who is pointier? Oh, did some of that get through his shield? It did. I think retributive damage of certain types gets through the reflection shield. In other words, that which has been reflected doesn't get reflected again. Kind of like classic Final Fantasy VI rules. Or Final Fantasy in general. That a reflected spell can't be reflected. It's like otherwise they'd just be bouncing forever. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to deflect a little bit of your damage back at you, you're not going to do it again. However, that was not enough. Although admittedly, I wouldn't say quite down by half, but he did a fair job. It just wasn't quite enough. Apparently, so far only Armored has been able to actually defeat Apis. The Mighty. Oh, do you have enough damage bonus to take down Apis? Because it is also about outpacing him. So go for it, Mighty. Okay, he deals a lot of damage. But remember, in damage reflection mode, that's also going right back at him. So, oh wow, some of those hits are huge. They must have been hitting his damage limit. He's just about down. So far, Armored and Mighty. Oh, that was close. That one, I think, could have been either way. 12 points. Ho ho. Okay. Okay, Mighty and Armored can do it. Mighty and Armored can pull it off, but so far... Oh, Vampiric, so you get a little health back. Let's see how you work with something with that much kick to it. I mean, he's probably going to regenerate like crazy, like Armored did. So, let's see if it's enough. He's looking like it. He's dealing some serious blows. But of course, the explosive flex is hard to dodge. But then again, this guy's healing is just ridiculous. Like, seriously ridiculous. So Apis will probably be going down. Not necessarily quickly, just he'll be going down. Because this guy's just out healing like crazy. He's keeping up the defense. Now if I get a repeat, I'm going to stop the cycle. Because I probably went through them all. Or at least a good portion of them. Because the thing is, each boss in Thaumcraft has its own subset of variations. So you can exhaust the pool pretty quickly. And Apis is now down. So we do have a few that have managed to do it. And why do I have just 2? I thought I had another one. Slight mystery. Don't know where one of those statues went. But that's okay. Did they get blown up or something? Because that can happen. Oh well. Anyhow. Apparently the Vampiric works. Oh no, the other one just got close. That was it. So Vampiric and Armored can do it. See, which version will you be? Oh, we have the Sickly. The Spined again. Infested. Okay, okay. Let's see if you don't gang up. Because you're infested. So he has a bunch of little spiders. Yeah. Tainted crawlers. However, I don't think they'll factor in. They'll just get, yeah, randomly exploded. Oh wait, he set off the other one. I did not mean to do that. Of course, that does show he will set them off on his own if he happens to already be in a fight. So, that can happen. Armored, we've seen you. So I'm going to have to get rid of them individually to get into variation. Because that's going to be annoying if they all get set off. The Warped. Okay, Warped is another variation that I hadn't seen fight him yet, so let's try that. But yeah, apparently there's Infested variation. Wow, he's getting launched. I mean launched. So it comes to going against Apis. So far, Crimson Praters depend on which variation they are as to how well they do. Which is definitely fascinating. It's like, just what kind of advantage do they need to take out this angry bull? Apparently, that was not it. So, thank you for participating. Let's just see if we can get lucky whenever I do this. The Grim. Wow, he went right into it. I think it's because I set him to attack them first, so... Launch. How's the weather up there? Because you seem to be visiting up there pretty often right now. Is this good for your frequent flyer miles? Because I'd wager it is. Grim had a grim ending. That's all that we could say certainly happened there. Oh well. He lasted a little while. I mean, it was fair. He got down by close to 40 points, so... Let me clear him. Clear entities. And start that over. The warded. Oh, warded. Oh gosh. This will be the battle of the shields. Because warded, oh my gosh. They have heavy runic shielding. I mean, just watch that force field. And the pounding that Apis is giving it. Wow, the shield is already down. Okay. Now, on warded champions, it can come back after a while. And warded specifically gives more regeneration to that shield than some other enemies that may have the ability of having warding. But yeah, it's not giving him as much of an advantage against Apis. Well, actually it is. He's pretty close. Looks like this one could be neck and neck. That was close. Right now he's regenerating his himself. But he was taken down pretty far too, so that one was tight. That one was very tight indeed. Warded gets close. There's a definite thing to learn there. Warded gets close. So, okay. That was... So, warded can do it. So can armored. And, I think vampiric was the other one that managed to do it because they also had extra fast healing. So I think... okay, warped is the one that did not get it. It was warded. Armored, we've seen you. Sickly, you were literally the first. You were the first champion, and you were obliterated very quickly. Undying. Is he really undying? Really? Let me point you in the right direction. He does have some serious fast healing. But will it be enough? Because I mean, we've seen Apis overpower decently fast healing. It's the uber healing that finally gets past him. And again, he likes setting things on fire himself, so that tends to help out Apis. Because he's roasting this guy. Wow, I'm surprised those blocks survived that blast. Did I forget that I had put on... Okay, the Undying wasn't really all that undying, but he did manage to take down Apis by over 75%. He's down to his last quarter health, so that was impressive. And I'll reset you two. Okay, purge the wand. There we go. But Undying wasn't so undying. That was a very disappointing name. But yeah, you can note they have all these little other name attachments, and that's pretty cool. Vampiric, we've seen you. I think the only variation we haven't seen against them that actually went all the way is Infested. See, this is mainly seeing what... Okay, we're getting too much repeat here. If I don't get it in the next one, I'm moving on. Warped, yep, we've seen you. You just add warp. Most mobs don't have to worry about their warp. It's mostly players. It's annoying to players, but... And also, I don't think those extra spiders would have really mattered to Apis because, again, area attacks. So, we've seen the Prater now. But there are others, and they also have their champion forms. And, I might want to... Oh yeah, I need to whip out the Crimson Portal. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, so let's see our Eldridge Construct. This thing is pretty bulky, but it also fights a bit golemy, so we'll see how well that works. You're gonna actually... Oh, you're not gonna engage on your own. Mighty Eldridge Construct. Has mighty, but that's also a mighty whacking there. I think we can just kind of see which ones have more of an edge against Apis than others. Namely, Vampiric and Warded. I mean, Warded, kind of. But more so when it came to Armored. So giving them that extra health boost can certainly help out, especially if it's otherwise be narrow. This guy is getting wonked, and so is Apis. They are just hammering each other. Well, that was narrow. That was fairly narrow. I can see that being one of those cases where exact variation would definitely be a thing. But apparently Mighty is not the way to go for Eldritch Construct. Let's just see a random one. Okay, Fiery. Okay, I didn't reset him in between. And I'm blind. Is it because I've taken on, like, temporary warp from dealing with these things? Is that what's going on? Because usually you don't just get that one effect over and over. There's got to be something up there. Or something that's causing blindness, otherwise. I'm not sure what it is exactly. Okay. And he's got the homing shots. When he gets down this far, he and goes through his regeneration phase. Darn lips. I was gonna say. Why was I saying regeneration phase? It's regeneration phase. But after that, the construct gets really mad. And wow, that one was whooped even faster. Okay, so only certain variations are going to be that big of a deal. So I can see that most fights between him and Thaumcraft will go pretty much the same. It's just a few variations might give an edge. But as I said, that's one of the things that makes it interesting with Thaumcraft is you get these champion forms of bosses. So I kind of showed like a lot of the variations before. So let's go with a different one, because I could see the Eldridge Construct will go a lot like the Prater, where the variation makes more the difference. So yeah. Now let's pop in something. Oh, vampiric variation. I might have to see if a lesser variation can be taken out by him. But yeah, this is the Eldridge Warden. He's pretty much one of the bosses of the Outer Realm. Or the Outer Lands. And he always has warding. He's just not always warded, meaning he gets it even more. And this one's vampiric. I mean, this guy has serious magic. But he doesn't seem to do good in Rushdown. Wow, that was a 25-point explosion? Seriously, he just got whomped. Wow. And that warped energy field is going to be a problem. I don't know if there's a way to clear that. See, that just stays there for like a long time. So there's a side effect to that guy. He just creates this field of warped energy. And it just goes on for like forever. Or at least for a very long time. I think maybe if you reset the world, it'll change. See, did I get an effect just from being in that? Yeah, it gave weakness. So yeah, that field is like super annoying. I'll throw in another one. And see if it gives him any kind of advantage. It's a Chogner Fawn. Yeah, I know Azenor is a fan of the mythos. That was just an obvious nod. because all the names that they can be are preloaded. Wow, even his entry creates some. Are there only vampires here out of this guy? Is that where it's going? Only vampires? Seriously, like the first one was vampiric, the second and the third? Well, we have armored now. But is that armored variation going to be able to help out as much as it did the Crimson Prater? Whoa, fireballed to the back. He's on fire, and the thing is, warding protects from a whole lot of different types of damage, including non direct damage, or maybe I should say it protects from condition-based and non-condition-based damage. So whenever he had flaming status, he was taking damage to his runic warding first, or runic shields as they're usually said. But his shields are gone, and Apis is just clobbering him. In terms of sheer damage capability, it seems that the variations of, and not just that, but regeneration, but basically all the stats that matter, the additional states that the Eldridge Warden can have apparently don't matter as much to Apis, like, at all. He just throttles the Eldridge Warden by, like, a lot. Now, let's try to lure him out of that field. So many primordial pearls. But yeah. Now the giant tentacle. Okay, it's hurting him for a moment there. I'm gonna have to force him out. Force field. This is why I like using this armor in mob battles. It's very convenient for flushing them out of locations. But yeah, the giant tentacle deals a ton of melee damage. Just an enormous ton of melee damage. Although, it seems to also have this whole thing about traditionally, like, hurting itself and healing randomly in a weird way. Not sure what's up with that. But let's see what the big gamble is on to whether or not Apis will choose range more or get whacked in melee. Right now he has his shield up, so that's reflecting a ton of damage, and it's down. Wow, they actually figured out that he was the enemy. That's fascinating. I mean, he literally took no damage. I don't even have to heal him. His shield was up immediately. But if it's down, he'll probably take a ton of melee damage and get defeated. This is very much assuming that the RNG has his shield down at the time. I mean, goodness sakes, if he has his shield up, he reflects all that humongous melee damage that the giant tentacle does. And again, it's almost entirely melee. It does kind of do this area slam thing. It's too bad you're not getting to see it here. See, he's starting to take this big melee damage. But he puts up his shield pretty frequently, so... The giant tentacle just does not get a chance against Apis. I'm gonna actually be not so sporting about this, and leave Apis temporarily damaged, and see if the next can take him. Like, tag team here. The answer is no. I mean, goodness sakes. It's just a total wipeout. It's like a giant punching bag for him. In fact, he just did one of his rush punches. And since he has a damage limit, even when it hits him repetitively for its huge melee damage, it's not quite as effective as it would be against another boss because of that damage limit. So he's just wrecking these. I'm basically just giving him punching bags that happen to be moving, and even then they're not totally mobile. They're just kind of whipping in place. Wait, what? Just fiery giant tentacle was let me bring up that message. Fiery Giant Tentacle was squeezed by Fiery Giant Tentacle? How did that even happen? Is that what that damage is? Does it count as some kind of squeezing damage? That's kind of crazy. He was smacking it so rapidly, and the point of damage that took it out had to have been its own like self-damage that it does so quickly that I showed from the damage indicators. That is what actually took it out. And if that happens, apparently it tells you it squeezed itself to death. Grim Giant Tentacle withered away. I don't think that's wither damage, but it could be. I mean, what is up with these death messages for? I'm kind of wondering what's going on here. I mean, Apis pounding it, that's one thing. It says it was... Maybe that's the... Oh, I get it. Whenever he reflects damage, it's still the same source and type. So whatever it's trying to do to him, it's doing to itself with the damage reflection. So it's going to be the kind of messages you would have got if you would have been killed by it. So it's causing it squeezing damage whenever it deals its melee damage at point-blank range. It's kind of trying to squish the opponent. But that doesn't work on him. This is funny. This is just too entertaining. Now, that case, that was definitely him doing the finish, because he clearly just used his explosive blast and just laid it to waste. It was just gone. That one was dusted. And technically, for pure damage, that's actually one of the strongest bosses in Thaumcraft, because it just deals ridiculous damage if you're anywhere close to it. You have to range that thing so carefully if you're actually doing it in survival. But now, for a different message, the Crimson Portal. Unlike the others, this one is always just as it is. Hey, I'm going to move you in here, and at some point, you and the entire Crimson Cult are going to have a go at it. Let me see, can I target you? There we go. Now, it's powering up, so it's not going to be quite as vulnerable, but I have the entire Crimson Cult going after him now. And sooner or later, that thing's going to become vulnerable, and he will wreck it. But can he with all these minions? Entire Crimson Cult after him now. This is like all on one. This is kind of like a battle royale, but not exactly. I need to readjust my position. Sorry, my thing kind of went a little off. He's just ignoring some of those guys in the back. Like completely ignoring them. Okay. So the thing is, after a while, it will summon a Prater. Or several. Man, he got it super mad. I don't think I've ever seen it get to that stage where it does that much. Come on, Super Blast. But can he take down the portal first? Wow, that dealt so much. That just dealt so much damage. But yeah, it has to exist long enough to be able to do that. They're screwed. They literally have nothing left. The clerics are confused. Man, there's so many opponents that against Apis, they are just nailed, screwed, and super glued. Like, put them on a work of art and just say, "Here's your trophy, Apis." That's what you need. A knowledge fragment. That was insanely random. But yeah, these guys are just... I mean... They're just like, we lost our leadership, we don't know what to do, so we'll just stand here and hope nothing happens. He just embarrassed the entire Crimson Cult. They're like, oh, I can't go on. Let me just walk away in peace. Oh, that's hilarious. They're still chanting as usual, but they just don't know what else to do. Of course, I'm wearing red too, but that's a different point. I'm not with the cult. I just have this very swank armor that's like encrusted with gems. It just happens to be red. That's all. Anyhow, I'll be logging off now. So I'll hope to hear from you all later. And bye for now, everybody. And remember, there will be more Bob battles. Oop, wait, sorry, needed to... Okay, there we go.